Good morning, everybody. I wanted to, it's Saturday morning. That was my mail program telling me it's called Mailbird. Now you know why. Anyway, I wanted to show you something real quick here on a response I got on a scrape, and I want to show you how I'm handling it. So this guy, we sent our initial scrapes, and it said, something to the effect, would you be well, here it is right here. I saw your listing online. You would not consider rent to own, would you? Thanks, Bill. And that's just one of the first in our introductory series of texts that we sent out. And this guy responded first time out. He responded on the 20th. It's now the 23rd, and I'm just getting back to him. That's how busy we've been with our scrapes. But he said, yes, please call me. So am I going to call him right now? No, I'm not going to call him. I'm going to create his offer, and then I'm going to call him. Because if I call him now, he's going to ask me all about lease options and how it works and what we want to do and numbers and this and that and da-da-da. And I don't have any of it in front of him. So as I'm trying to explain it to him, it's going to be very difficult to do that. But if I get the offer in his hands and then I can walk him through it as we both have it sitting right in front of us, it becomes a lot easier when he can relate it to his property, see actual numbers, and so on and so forth before we get with the questions. And also, as some of you know already, those offers have FAQ at the back of them. So there's all kinds of information there that they can read before you get them on the phone. So I'm going to send the offer. I'm going to text him and say, hey, just sent you over that offer. Take a look at it, and then let's get on the phone. And if he responds, great, and I'll continue the conversation. If he doesn't, then I'm going to call him and say, hey, Scott, I got your text back to my thing. I don't know if you saw it yet, but I sent you an email, had some information and kind of the structure of what we're looking to do as far as your home and purchasing it from you. Did you have an opportunity to look at that? And they'll either say, yes, I saw it, or I didn't, and the conversation goes from there. But guys, even if they ask me point blank and say, hey, call me on this initial text, I'm not going to unless I need information to make an offer. I'm going to make the offer and then call them because I want them to have that information before I have to try to explain it to them. Explaining this out of thin air is difficult. Explaining it when they have the offer in their hands, it becomes a lot easier. So I prefer to do it when they have the offer in their hands. Make sense, guys? Anyway, that was just, I wanted to share that with you. You can see this is a response we got. It was on the very first text to this guy. And, he wants me to call him. But I'm going to do the offer first. So I am going to make an offer on this house. I'm going to take a look at what he's doing here. $2,500 rent he's asking for. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet. Perfect. Looks gorgeous. Very nice house. I love the floors. It's a little weird on the shaping of it. Some of the rooms are kind of odd shaped, but it's a really nice little home that somebody would definitely want to live in. It looks to be in a decent area. So I don't know how this looks as far as his pricing and stuff, but let's take a look and see where we're at. Except there's no property address. So this guy is a guy I'm going to have to call because he didn't give me the street address of his property. So we will have to wait on that one, and I'll have to call him to see what the address is. Actually, I could call him right now. Let me find my phone. I can give this guy a call while you guys are listening. If you want to bear with me for a moment. This guy's number. Sorry, guys, I'm dialing this guy's number. It's ringing, guys. 3 rings already. Trying to get onto his voicemail. Hey, Scott. My name is Bill Lane. I'm an investor from California, and I'm looking at your property that you have on Craigslist on. Man, I don't even know how to say the name of the street. Chupatulas Street at Sunny Street. So I apologize. I'm sure I butchered the heck out of that. But anyway, I was trying to get the actual street address from you so that I can take a look at this thing. I had texted you about rent to own on this, and you'd asked me to give you a call. So what I wanted to do was kind of put some numbers together and the structure of what we look to do. We can approach the property in several different ways as investors. So what I like to do is put that in front of you so that you can look at what we're trying to accomplish on paper, so that we can go over it on the phone. It just makes it easier than me trying to babble through it. I was never good at charades. So I'm even worse at trying to explain this without you having something in front of you. So it just makes it easier. So that's why I kind of like to do that. So do me a favor and shoot me a text with the actual street address. My number is 619-243-4000. Again, my name is Bill, 619-243-4000. Text me the street address of that property, and I will email you on your Craigslist email. And then we can get on the phone and go from there. All right, man. Have a great Saturday, and I look forward to hearing back from you. Thanks, Scott. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. So I just left him a message, and hopefully he'll call me back and give me the address on that property, and we'll go from there. But I guess the point was, guys, when you get somebody who tells you to call them, like I had to call this guy, obviously, because as we dug into it, we didn't have the street address. So what I do is in my system, we'll designate that. This is so my partners know that I've already dealt with this property. No address. It's a common problem. People don't like to put the address. They think prospective folks are going to go bang on the door or whatever. But anyway, I'll just designate this as no address and go to the next one. And as you can see, we have a ton in here to do from scrapes. All the investor ones are done, but we've got a lot to do from scrapes. I have yesterday's, which are here. Those are ours that need to be done. So these are how many came in from our efforts, right? These are Farah did these, and you can see Ashton did one here. Farah has been super consistent this week. But Nathaniel's got a bunch too that aren't in this particular window. But anyway, you can see this ours from yesterday. So this is what our offer deal looks like every day. You can see it's a lot. So we're trying to grow that. We want to continue to grow that. We want to make that even better. There's another property. Minnetonka, this one says. This is another one that doesn't have an address. I'm going to put my name up here so that if by chance one of my other guys is in here, he'll know that I'm working on it. So it doesn't have an address. Absolutely would. I hate to give up the 3 3/4% rate. It's the other 50% owner who would be resistant. Tell me the details of your situation. We might have a chance of considering this. All right, so this is one I definitely want to send an offer to. And here we go. Okay, this guy does have the address right here. Iverness Road, Minnetonka. This is a beautiful house, too. Look at this thing. Gorgeous. Look at this house. Look at that fireplace with the bathtub. That's pretty nice, huh? Wow. This is a super nice house. What do they want for this thing? Prenups mortgage offered on contract. So the guy's totally okay with owner financing. And this guy has no numbers on here, so that's kind of good. Because what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to make the offer on what I think the numbers are based on what I can find. So let's take a look here. First of all, we're going to locate the property. Playing games with Podio here, guys. That's why I have to do all this back and forth garbage, because Podio drives me nuts. Which is why I'm waiting for REI Simple, but hasn't happened for me yet. So let's let the system do some work for us here. We're going to get the property info. We've already done that. Here it is. Pull comps. That's going to pull Zillow comps down here at some point. Waiting for Podio. There they are. Okay, so 415, 435, 421, 445, 435, 477, 555, 60, 465, 518. So the comps are okay. They're not spectacularly great and tight, but they're pretty good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what the estimate is, what Zillow estimated the house was worth, 435, and the house sold for 415. It's estimated at 445, sold for 421. So the estimates are a little high on those two, right? 477, 435, same trend. This estimate's higher than what it sold for. 560, 550, same thing. 518, 465. This one is opposite. So 4 out of 5 of them, year's estimate was a little bit lower than what the home actually sold for. And this one is listed at $808,000 with $3,500 as rent or so. So let's put 3,500 here. I don't know how good this is, but we're just going to kind of get something here so we can take a look. Add it and see. 800. This estimate is 808, and this estimate has been high on most of these. So just for a starting point, let's go with 775. And guys, this calculator, remember, this was a custom built system for me, so it had some things in there that I could not change. So when you see that I'm not putting a repair cost, I'm not using this part of the calculator. I do use it sometimes for certain deals. In this particular case, I'm not going to, because all I'm doing is, and this is incorrectly labeled too. This really isn't final ARV, but I can't change it because it was already designated that when I bought this system, and then we customized it. So if I was to change that, it would screw up other things that are already set up in the system. So it's not really ARV. What that number is what I think the house is worth as it sits right now today. Okay. So I've already factored in repair costs. Okay. All I'm going to subtract from this in this calculation factor is this $10,000 wholesale fee. estimated repairs, I've already done this in my head. And in this case, I did 25K because the house looks in perfect condition, really. I only did that because um, he's got it. He wants 800 for it. But he wants to, I don't know what he wants for it actually, because he didn't list it. But his estimate is $808,000. So, and the comps show that the estimates have been a little bit high. So that's why I priced it that way. Guys, this isn't a perfect science when we're making these initial offers. It's you just make an offer, right? It's not a perfect science. So all we're trying to do is get a conversation started. So sometimes it's not even a bad thing to shock them. I get a lot of emails back and say, "Oh my God, you're nuts. You're way too low," or whatever. But what has that done? It started the conversation. And you can ask Farah or any of the people that are working with us, when you see these conversations start to happen, a lot of times it starts from a place of anger, and then we'll turn it back around and I'll say, well, hey, what do you want? What can we do? Hey, these numbers aren't set in stone. And as lease option investors, we don't care what the sales price is. The only thing that matters to us is that it's within reason for the market. Otherwise, we won't be able to sell it. But we're not making any money by beating the seller up. And I'll tell the seller that all the time. And look, I don't care what your sales price is, as long as it allows me to do plan B, which is I've got to move the property. So it's got to be within reason on the market. But beating you up for an extra $5,000 doesn't do me any good as an investor. So make that point to the seller. Let them know once you're negotiating with them that, hey, I don't care what the sales price. Let's make it as high as we can for you. I don't care. We just want to make it, reasonable for the buyer, tenant as well. Otherwise, we won't be able to find one, right? So anyway, that's why I did that way. So let's say 775. Now we'll go look at this property in PropStream, because again, I don't know what this guy's asking for it. I don't know much, and the comps weren't super tight either. So I'm just not really sure on the valuation of this thing. So let's take a look at PropStream and see what that says. All right. Zero mortgage balance, so they own it free and clear according to this. And here's the mortgages. So this says zero mortgage balance. He says he has a mortgage on it, so this PropStream probably doesn't have the latest information. So if we get further along, we can have a conversation with the seller about where he stands on the mortgage. So I'm thinking that PropStream is probably one purchase behind here. So you have to be careful with PropStream and any of these services. I mean, none of this information is solid. People are always bitching, especially new people bitching about skip tracing, and I complain about it too because it drives me nuts. But bottom line is, it's not a perfect science. And neither is PropStream when you're looking for sellers or any of these services. You're looking for information. So looks to me like this is behind, so that's not going to help us much. But what I kind of wanted to see here was the rent, and Zillow had said $3,500, because in this ad, guys, the seller's not telling me anything other than that they're trying to sell. They're not telling me how much they're trying to sell for. They're not asking for rent, so I didn't have any clue what the market's bearing in Hopkins, Minnesota, right? So that's why I'm double checking, even though if this was an area I'm familiar with and the comps were just like they were as far as how tight they were and everything, which they were somewhat loose here, but good enough, I would just go with it. But in this case, I don't know Hopkins, Minnesota, so I'm going to double check. And what PropStream is basically doing here is telling me that Zillow's pretty close to being on track, right? Zillow was 3,500. This says 3,420. Zillow was 808, and this says 840. So I know I'm super safe at my 775 that I put down, and I can go from there. And I may be low, and if I am, I'm sure this guy's going to tell me if he has any interest in doing this at all. He'll tell me I'm nuts, and then I'll open the door for conversation, right? And at least now I can give this guy something. So what I'm setting that up for by being at 775, if this guy is interested at all, I can now give him something, and he can feel like he beat me up, right? I can give, oh, you know what? You want 785? Okay. Now he's beat me up, he's happy, and we can move forward with the deal. So I think 775 is a good number here for all the reasons that we just talked about. That makes sense, guys. 775. So as you can see, here's the rest of these calculations. 3,500 is what option 3 rent will be. 2,625 is what my calculator is telling me that sandwich lease number should be. And 775 is what our option 3 wholesale lease option price will be. And then with 15% equity, 658 would be the sandwich lease option price that the calculator would like us to use. So that being said, we are going to move over to the offer screen, or actually I'm going to open up another Podio instance and open up the offer screen. This is another reason I hate Podio, guys. This is the game we have to play and go back and forth between these apps. And boy, will I be happy when REI Simple is available to me and I can not have to deal with this back and forth, because it drives me absolutely nuts. And it takes time. It's a hassle. Complete hassle. You know what I didn't look at Zach Woodbury was his email. Okay, he does have one. And again, Zach was another initial responder, which is kind of weird. Normally these are the 5th or 6th follow-up, but Zach and the other one we looked at earlier, both of them immediately responded early. So anyway, kind of interesting. And now Podio should have already created an offer, but it's not there. So now I'm going to jump here and jump back here to make it trick it into creating an offer for me. And there's my offer creation. Now we're going to fill this out, and it's calculated some of that stuff for me. Cash offer. In this case, we'll go with 570. No real reason for that. I mean, I don't really want a cash deal, but I mean, if you want to give it to me for 570, I'll take it. So I'm just going to throw the number up there. Oh, he would definitely take it for 5.7 million. There we go. 570, 658. $775. Okay, now I like this house. I really would like to get this one. So I'm gonna I'd like to get a sandwich lease on this. So I'm gonna fatten up the offer from what the normal calculation would be, right? And I'm going to fatten up this a lot. $3,000. And I think that looks good. Okay. So all I did was, shoot. Podio, I hate you. I really do. I love you for your value and service, but I really hate your quirks. We could not be married. Our relationship is nearing its end, that's for sure. All right, so good to go there. Just click generate contract. Here comes the contract. I hope. Podio has decided to grace us with a contract. Here it is. That looks good. Make sure the numbers and everything are right. Here's the property. Here's the cash offer. Here is the sandwich lease. And again, I fattened this up to make it more appealing. I'm hoping that this will be the one that jumps out at him, but I'm okay if he goes here. but I'm hoping that this will be the one they do. And again, guys, at the end of our offers is this critical Q&A section that tells them all about how all this works and all the fears and stuff. Why don't I just find my own? What do I do? Or what happens if? What if the tenant doesn't buy the house? How can you say it won't have any vacancies? You won't, because your tenant will be a right direction advisor. So we'll agree on a lease term, 3 years, 5 years, whatever you want at the end of, and that's the end of your vacancy problem. If our tenant buyer moves out, then that's our problem, not yours. We'll keep paying like clockwork. So anyway, this answers all those fears and everything that your sellers have when they're asking about lease options. So can you imagine why this is valuable to have this in their hands before you try to explain this on the phone, before you get into trying to explain how all this works without them having anything in front of them? Wouldn't it be nice if they had this, right? The numbers related to their home, and they had these, all these Q&As that they've already probably read before you got on the phone, or that you can refer to while they're on the phone. It makes a big difference, guys, and it makes things a lot easier for you, trust me. Okay? All right, finally, I want to show you the reason I do all this stuff, and this is my oldest daughter, Lindsay, who is 22 and just got officially married, but is getting married, having the ceremony and everything in April, but they just got married for legal reasons like a month ago. And this is her husband, ex-Navy guy, and that's why I do all this stuff. There's my oldest. And then my youngest one is a junior, about to be a senior at PV, Prairie View A&M University, historical black college. In case you hadn't noticed, I am not an African-American guy. My wife is not an African-American woman, but this school gave my daughter the most attention when she was recruiting for her soccer, and she ended up going there, and she's absolutely loved it. It's been a great experience for her, and she's done real well for the school, and she's killing it on the soccer field. She's led the team in scoring her all 3 years, and like I said, she'll be a senior. I'm trying to find a picture of her. I can't figure out where I'm going here. Here we go. That's her right there, number 10. There she is. Defender, but she, like I said, she's led the team in scoring all 3 years. PV, but kind of funny. Historical black college, but I'm not a black dude, but that's okay. They gave her the full ride with academic and soccer. We basically don't have to pay anything, so they got a great facility. It's been great for her, and all good stuff. So anyway, those are the reasons. Those are the reasons we do this stuff, right? Okay, guys, have a great Saturday. Talk to you soon.